Pick the Nintendo Shack and pray. Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening says, yo.
Greetings, Kooplings, and welcome back to the Nintendo Shack, episode 176. Wow. How are you, Garrett? How are you guys?
Oh, I'm fine. How about you,
Good?
bud?
Doing well. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I have a new microphone, so I'm making sure
New mic.
everything is working. Give me feedback, chat. If it's too much, too little, let me know what you think. Tonight, we are going to talk about the Switch Pro, Rebecca's favorite topic, Monster Hunter, and some other news. But before we do that, let us thank those that help keep us afloat over at patreon.com/PSVG. So thank you, Michael Masick, Barry Cathcart, Edwin Callow, Stephen Keller, Nick Creature, Rude Days 93, Ben Moxham, Rob Emanuel, Nick Fulhalber, Paul Calico. If you listened to the latest episode of Dollar Cinema, apparently, for years, everybody has been saying Kyle's last name wrong.
What?
Whoa.
It's Kyle Hyman, not Heyman. So, Kyle Hyman.
I don't know if I can get that changed in my head.
I know,
Grouchy
we've been saying it
Surge.
that way for so long.
It's ingrained in my head now.
Are you sure you can't change the way your name sounds, Kyle? Chris McElfresh, Devin Tyus, tonight's featured patron, Josh Borboni, and R.J. Kern. Tonight might be a little interesting.
You know?
We are under a tornado watch.
Great.
Both the county that I work for, emergency management, as well as my home. So at any moment, I may have to send emails, do stuff, whatever. At some point, if that happens, I will wave at you, and you just have to pick up where I left off.
Sounds
A tornado's coming for your house, and you're going to send emails.
Yeah, I got to.
Go get safe.
That's the job. So I've got my phone here, and I will be looking at it and kind of monitoring. So I'll be trying to do a little bit of both, but hopefully not too bad. So this week, what we're up to, Rebecca, what you been up to?
Oh, man. This has been a very busy week for me. This is the week before my school's spring break. So naturally, we have everything that's going on. Things are bouncing off the walls left and right. So I've been pretty busy during the workday, and then when I come home, I'm just very, very tired. So I've been streaming a little bit, still doing some PlayStation stuff here and there. I took a night off just to rest. I really haven't been playing a whole lot of new stuff that I haven't already talked about. But I will just throw in that I am completely back into Animal Crossing.
Nice.
It has happened. I knew that this I would take some time off and then get back into it. And I think this latest update that added the 50 custom pattern slots really got me back into it, because I'm just redesigning areas on my island. I'm redoing all my paths because I have more custom patterns now. Kind of getting back into the creativity of it. The Sanrio amiibo cards come out tomorrow, and I'm going to try to get a pack, and I'm going to maybe invite a new villager onto my island.
They're going to be rare to get.
They're going to be, yeah. So Target is really limiting. I think they're trying to stop scalpers from getting them. It's kind of weird how it works. So they're going to go live at 9:00 tomorrow morning, Target only. You can only order it on their website, but you can't order it for delivery online. You have to order online to get curbside pickup at your local store.
Interesting.
And it's only, I think it's either 1 or 2 packs per person per order.
That's pretty good.
Whatever it is. So you can't just mass order them online. You can't go into the store and buy the whole shelf worth full of them. They're really limiting. And I think it's because they're having a lot of problems with Pokemon cards. Have you guys heard about that?
Mm-hmm.
Pokemon cards are all the rage right now.
So impossible to get the new Pokemon cards right now. They're flying off the shelves.
People are crazy.
Kids want them.
Now
Adults
would be a
want them.
good time
Scalpers
to,
want them.
Put our collection up on eBay, I guess.
Well, I mean, I don't even think it's the old ones that people want. It's the new ones that people want. Yeah. I think there's so many of the old ones, but not so many new ones. The kids at my school love them. They're everywhere. It's like kind of back when we were kids and they were getting banned from elementary school. Like that's the case now. Like these kids have binders full of these cards and like you can't get them anymore. Yeah, I still have a binder. Yeah.
We've got a box. I just bought a coffee table where the top lifts up. and we filled the entire inside of the coffee table with Jack's Pokemon card collection.
Nice.
They're hard to get right now. So I think that's what Target is doing. I'm sure they have similar policies for the Pokemon cards now too, but I think they suspect that the Sanrio Amiibo cards might be the same deal. So they're trying to like kind of nip that in the bud before it becomes a problem. But it's Target only. It's such a weird way of getting them. So if you're planning on getting the Sanrio Amiibo cards, you know, by the time you're listening to this, it might be too late, but I'm going to try.
Nice.
Good stuff.
But that's, I mean, I think that's kind of keeping me going on the Nintendo front until Pokemon Snap. I think is probably the next thing that I'm going to get on the Switch that's first party. I'm really looking forward to that game.
Previews came out this week.
I know it looks
I saw a little
better
bit of
than
that.
because you know my reservation.
You were so middling on it. You were just like,
so hesitant.
I don't know, guys.
I have to go into it pessimistically, or else I'm going to set myself up for disappointment. So I'm cautiously hopeful after seeing these previews.
Fully voice acted. Every level has multiple paths. The Pokemon,
That part I really like. The multiple paths I think is good for the replayability.
Pokemon do different things based on the time of day, based on the things you throw at them.
I still wish that there were more like stages, and maybe there will be. Maybe they haven't showed us everything yet, but I think the
Pokemon
multiple
Snap Expansion Pass,
Yeah,
$29.99.
I would buy that, but I think just knowing that there's multiple paths, it makes up for the fact that there might not be a lot of different stages.
I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's over 200 Pokemon, which is like quadruple the number that the first one was in. So
Yeah.
I'm
Got to snap them all.
very excited. I really, really want
Motion controls.
that. Okay, yeah, that's really big. That's really
Wait, so is it like Pokemon Go where you like catch it?
No,
like
no,
that?
it's like you tilt
You
it.
like, yeah, the gyro to aim.
and then you can press to
Oh,
take a
that's
picture.
nice.
Yeah, like a real camera kind of thing.
Yep.
Like with the Pro Controller too. It's just the
Just
gyroscope.
yeah,
right?
just like we imagined it would have been if it was a Wii U game
Oh.
with the gamepad. Yeah,
Imagine if you could play with one controller one hand and then you could throw the Pokeball with the other, and it would actually
you're not
throw
throwing
stuff.
a Pokeball.
I know. I'm just saying. Like, what if you did that motion, and you threw like your apples or whatever
Oh, the
at them?
apples, yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
The berries
Yeah.
and
Oh, maybe they would do that.
The days of the Wii all over again.
Man, I feel like that would get overwhelming. Like so many things to do just to take a picture.
I saw Rebecca from IGN, her tweet thread about it, and she seems real on board and excited for it. That
Good.
gets me
Good.
excited. But you knew me; I was all in and super excited from the get go. So I could care less if it's like I beat this game in 5 hours. Like, don't care. I beat the first game in 5 hours. I played it for 100 hours.
Yeah.
See, that's
Yeah.
the thing that I can't let go of. Is everybody's like, you know, oh, the first game was so short, and then now they're like, you'll hear a lot of people on Twitter, you know, they'll say something like, "There's not that many stages. I don't know how long I'm going to play it." It's like there weren't that many stages the first time, and I played that game way
Yeah.
more than I played most other games that I had. You know, just a ton because
There's so
the
many
replayability, the collectathon, and just kind of redoing it. And plus, it was a really chill game. Mm-hmm. Like it's not one of those games where it's like, oh, I beat it, I never want to play it again. It's like I'm totally down to like ride on this Pokemon ride a few times.
And I feel like, especially with this one, there's going to be things that you're discovering way after you've played it, you know, one or two times. I feel like it's the kind of thing where it's like, oh my God, I didn't know about that secret. And I think I want to try to avoid online, like, I want to try to avoid other
I'm the
people
same.
telling me spoilers, like
Yeah,
how to find
for
a
sure.
Pokemon. I think eventually, once I want to get everything, you know, I'll start hearing more.
Yeah, I want to go
but-
through like once or twice
Yeah.
and mess around with it and then look into what I didn't figure out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like that first weekend, I'm going to be a little, be hard to reach.
And
There's
it's
definitely
go ahead, Garrett.
No, there's definitely a collectathon there. I saw like the different poses you have to do, and like I could see people trying to get 100% on this thing, and
Oh.
it's
Oh,
going
for
to be
sure.
way more than 5 hours
Oh, yeah.
for that game, for sure.
I think that it'll be kind of hard to find every secret yourself. Like it kind of is going to remind me of back in like the old days before the internet when we used to say, oh, like if you throw the apple under the tunnel, like you can get a Pikachu that's whatever, you know, the secrets. I think that'll be exciting. Oh no,
Oh.
did we lose Donnie?
Yeah, he's going frozen there.
Tornado's coming.
I guess so.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
He's
Anyways,
just perpetually excited for Pokemon Snap.
yeah, look at his smile.
All right, Garrett, you say what you've been up to.
So actually, first off, Thank you to actually a friend of a show, Ryan Craig, or at Mathman. I think you know him too. He has a family Nintendo Switch Online account, and so he added an. I'm in his family account, but also my girlfriend is now added into the account as well. So we're both playing online games now at the same time with Nintendo Switch.
So you're playing
Splatoon 2
I
with
knew
her.
it.
Yeah. So every time that in the evening that we have some free time, we would just play some games together. Sometimes we're against each other and she gets very competitive and then we're on the same team. We try to help each other out.
Is she really, really good now? Because
yeah,
she's
she is
so much. Oh
yeah. So on the Switch, like, you know how Splatoon's like the profiles are split. So like she was starting at level 1 on my profile like a month ago or something like that. She is now like level 40 in that.
Oh my gosh!
In that profile, and then I think it was Sunday when we added her account onto the Switch Online. She was totally fine going back to level 1. And, I was
really?
like, okay,
she
cool.
didn't have any of her weapons or anything. She's just going back to square one.
No, she was like, I'm fine with that. And I was like, okay, sure. And now she's passed me on my level on my Switch. She is like level 17 or 18. So, but she is having a blast with that. So,
oh man, I have to team up with you guys. I told you because my spring break is next week, so I'll have a lot more free time. I definitely want to team up with you guys and get back into it. I think that the Splatoon 3 announcement got me so excited for it again.
Yeah, for sure. There is a lot of people that are really good at that game now.
Oh, yeah. I feel like the only people who are playing it now are the ones who are really good.
We get crushed. And then it's hilarious. Every time she gets into a match, she's like, oh no, there's Japanese people in here. Like,
they are so hardcore about the game.
They're always hardcore.
Still go on to Splatoon 1 and still find matches, and it's usually only Japanese players who are like incredibly competitive.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. So we've been having fun with that, just dabbling a little bit with my spare time. Other than that, I've actually been a pause on Persona Strikers just because I wanted to play another game this past week, which was Spider-Man Miles Morales. And let me tell you, that game is just wonderful. Oh my god. Oh, what is happening? We're changing.
Here he is.
Hi, Donnie. Oh, you're muted.
We can't hear you.
Yeah.
Adventures of Glitchland.
Technical difficulties here.
Hey, at least the tornado didn't get you.
Yeah, that's true. Nope. Womp womp.
Womp womp.
Nope.
Try to go back out of the program and make sure it's the correct microphone that's selected. Remember that happened to me once?
Yeah, that's true. We'll see if he pops right back in.
Yeah, you guys are gonna crush me in Splatoon. I haven't played that. I only played it for the Splatfests for a while.
I was always rusty too, but like, you just ease back into it. But there's just so many good players in there now. One guy. This is the messiest show. I like it.
Are we back?
No.
Oh no.
The mic is. Oh man.
There's a ghost. I'm telling you. Blame it on the ghost.
Should we wait for him, you think?
Maybe give him a minute. What else? I mean,
You're thinking...
Chad's blaming the Chucky doll.
I mean, I don't. That Chucky doll is always creepy. Matt Mann said Miles Morales is an amazing game. It is.
Wait,
Rebecca,
have you been playing that?
Yeah, Rebecca, have you tried Spider-Man yet?
No, I don't know. People say that I will like it, but I don't know if I'll like it because I don't really like the whole superhero thing, and I've never seen a Spider-Man movie.
It's okay. That's interesting. Well, is it in the PlayStation collection? It is. No, it's not.
I don't think so.
Okay, never mind. Oh no, it's a remake. There's a remake on PS5. That's why.
Oh yeah.
So, anyways, Miles Morales is the sequel to it, the spinoff, and I freaking love that video game just because of the representation in there of just the minority, and also it's about Harlem and the community there.
I feel like I would like the story and the characters a lot, so I feel like maybe I should watch somebody else play it. I don't know. Maybe I would like. I've been trying a lot of different games lately that are like out of my comfort zone type things.
Yeah,
and I will admit the swinging with the spider web does look really fun. So I'm not opposed to trying it.
There's haptic feedback on the triggers.
That weirds me out. I was doing that with like the Astro game and like Sackboy and stuff, and it's weird.
Yeah, there's some resistance on the triggers or something.
It's like a workout for your fingers.
Yeah,
it makes my fingers sore.
Man, is he gonna come back?
I don't know. Do you want to finish what you were up to?
Yeah, let me wrap it up. I've been playing this other game on Switch that I've been meaning to get to for a while now. And it's called Void Terrarium. It's made by Nippon Ichi Software, the people who made Disgaea series. In a nutshell, it is a roguelike dungeon crawler. And so
I've never heard of this.
Yeah, it's a very smaller game. Basically what you do is that you're this little robot and you're in an apocalyptic world and an alien world. Oh, he's coming. Is he back?
No! It's the new mic. Blame the new mic.
The mic is not registering.
No, I'm just kidding. This is so sad.
Yeah.
But it worked before. I don't understand.
It just totally messed up. What do you want to do?
Can you use a different mic?
Yeah. Do you have another mic?
Oh,
no, he's frozen.
gone.
And then he's gone. Okay. You're this little robot. Oh, gosh.
We're trying, guys. We're trying.
We're really trying.
This is going to be a fun edit.
I'm so sorry, Donnie.
Oh, I feel bad.
This is rough.
I wonder if other programs are able to detect his mic. Is it the program that we're using?
Maybe it is the new program on the mic that's messing it up.
But it was working before.
That's the thing. It was working, which is perfectly fine too. Now the views are different.
I know. I feel like we're so big.
No, we're big on this, but not big on the stream.
Wait, we're normal on the stream?
Yeah, we're normal on the stream.
Oh, wow. No, that looks very different than what we're seeing, guys.
Yeah.
Interesting. People are saying phone him in.
We can phone him in.
Phone in, Donnie. I think it's because our featured patron is Devin.
Devin, how did you mess this up?
It cursed the whole thing.
Yeah.
Gosh. I swear, one of these days we're gonna need to make like a blooper reel of all of the like tech issues that we've had. We'll include the Halloween episode where Donnie came in with a shark.
He really wanted to get in the show.
Oh. We have not even received a message from Donnie instructing us on what to do.
Romaine says, quick, Donnie's gone, JRPG time. All right, I've been playing Void Terrarium.
Is that a JRPG?
It is a roguelike dungeon crawler made by a Japanese studio. So the gameplay, so it's like a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. It's like top down, and then you go on expeditions through several layers, and you fight robots and stuff, exactly like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. And so basically the objective of the game is your robot needs to gather resources, mods or whatever, Every time I begin to explain a game, Donnie gets in to this dang thing.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes,
Oh
I can.
my god! Wow, I have zero controls. I literally have no controls right now. I can't
What?
see anything, but at
Really?
least you guys can hear me. Yeah,
Well,
like
it looks good.
all the settings and everything are gone.
The stream is fine. Like
Yeah.
everything looks fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. The power went out.
Oh wow.
Oh.
It came back on, but obviously it reset my router. So I turned on my Wi-Fi card and I tried to get back. Garrett, I'm sorry for the frustration I was giving you.
No, it's okay.
I didn't want to miss the show.
Of course not.
Of course not.
So
Coach suggested we were about to let Dev start hosting.
Dev, yes. Delvin, absolutely not.
No.
See, Coach, you've got the wrong Delvin. It's let Delvin host, not Dev host. I'm
We're
sorry.
back.
Where were we? Garrett?
I was just explaining this game for the 4th time.
It was
that's
so funny. Every time he started to explain it, it would like the views would change.
All right, guys. It's not Atelier Ryza. It's a
That's
game.
good.
Yeah, it's a game called Void Terrarium, and to make Donnie the most like uninterested in this game, it is a roguelike dungeon crawler, and so that probably just snaps him out of there. So you are this robot that goes on expeditions to gather resources and goes back to the hub, and basically it's a post-apocalyptic world, and there's this one human left, and you're trying to like basically take care of that human, this little girl. And you and this other robot is like trying to figure out how to do that. So think of this like humans it's like a Tamagotchi or whatever. You have to just like take care of it throughout several expeditions. You have to sanitize her place. You have to like eat give her food.
Oh.
She's not in the right mindset too, because like it's like she has fungus growing out of her. It's like kind of creepy, but adorable at the same time. It's very adorable art style. But
it is really cute.
yeah. And so the gameplay it's fine. It's just it's one of those it can pick up and just try to go through a couple expeditions, and then you eventually die or you eventually get to your end goal. If you go into your end goal, that's great. You get like your quest items you need to get. You can like add a bed to like her place, or add some decorations, or give her a special equipment. You can give yourself special equipment as well. But if you die, that's okay too, because all the items that you gathered are converted into resources, and you also need resources for crafting these items as well. So it's just one big crafting rhythm that you're just going through.
Is that where the roguelike part comes in?
The roguelike part comes in is like you just die all the time, and then the next expedition you restart to level 1. There's no like progression with your character. It's just you helping this girl throughout like this story or this campaign or whatever. So
Did you beat it yet?
no, I'm only like a couple hours in. It seems to be just okay. It's a solid 7 game to me. It's a game I would watch a show and just like, this is busy time. Like, oh, let me just go through a couple of expeditions or something like that. It's nothing like you need to buy this game or get this game full price. I got this for like $20, and I'm like, $20 is about worth it.
Okay.
I think I'm going to keep playing it a bit more. There's another smaller game that I would like to touch, but there's just so many RPGs I can't handle. And there's a certain game coming out tomorrow, okay, that I'm getting. Okay, so
A certain small
It's just
game
very-
you might have heard of before.
yeah, it's exploding in our Discord. Like everyone,
You're going to sink
It's-
a lot of time into that.
no kidding.
Apparently, that's a good decision.
Apparently, it is a good decision
Yeah.
because we're gonna have a lot of good hunting nights too. And also, I want to shout out to Edwin Callow just because he finished Bravely Default 2
Yeah, he did.
recently, and I loved his pictures, his progression throughout Twitter, and it makes me really jealous because I just want to go to Bravely Default 2 now, but I want to play Persona Strikers, but I want to play
crushes
Monster Hunter.
He crushed Dragon Quest the same way, man.
Man, he crushes them pretty good. Honestly, he's determined. Once he gets in, he goes in fast. So, congrats to him, man. But that's pretty much it on
Cool.
my end.
Well, as I alluded to in last week's show, finally, I wanted it to arrive like Friday. I didn't get here until like Tuesday, so it was a little later than I expected. But I finally got my Super 64,
Whoa.
which you can see
Oh.
pictured on screen. It is the Eon Super 64 HDMI adapter. And you might be able to tell there's like a little button right there on the side of it. It's a really cool thing is that it will actually smooth out the picture. So I have been posting screenshots and pictures of what my N64 games look using this adapter.
They look good.
It
It's
looks
magical.
really good.
It's magic. And I had somebody who was like, it's still 480p. Well, yeah, of course it is.
You're not gonna magic. Oh my
There's
god.
there's no like super resolution to the 64. Like, so for those that were interested,
Not easy.
for those that were interested, it's $150, which is why I have never
That
bought
makes
one.
sense.
It's expensive. But as I mentioned in the last episode, like they have the Ultra HDMI, which is like a full upscaler. This gets you really close to that, and those are like $500.
Why? Why would you buy a $500
Because
thing? for
now,
that?
if you haven't looked it up, you should because they're pretty awesome. The Ultra HDMI 64, like it looks better than what I have.
How? Oh my gosh.
But this gets you really close at a fraction of the price. Thank you to Mr. Biden. I used my Biden bucks, and this was a little bit of something that I bought for myself. I wanted one of these forever. I went and got my 64 out, plugged it in. I've been playing it all week. It's incredible. I can't believe it. So one, I finally have my N64 plugged up via HDMI. So I can take advantage of the beautiful television that I bought for my Series X, which is a big part of it. Like a big part of the reason why my pictures look so good is because the TV is fantastic. It's an incredible TV. The second part is it is still 480 picture, but as you guys see in the pictures, it's blown up to 50 inches and there's no stretching. Nothing looks like oblong or weird or out of place like you do if you get like the Hyperkin HDMI adapter that like plugs into the old adapter and then plugs out. Like there are all these like Radio Shack, like daisy chains that you can do to the N64, but all you're doing is stretching. You're just blowing up your picture.
Right.
You're
I think
gonna
that's
blow
what
out
mine does. Remember the one that I was telling you about? I think it just does
Yeah.
that. I haven't
You're
tried it
gonna blow
yet.
out, you're going to blow out the pixels. Everything's going to look kind of worse for it unless you are plugging it into like a smaller TV, right? That condenses it. This upscales it, and that little button on the side that I showed you is actually it's like a smoothing button. So like on the virtual console, like you have like a smoothing option. It'll round edges. That's kind of what this does. And when you sit there and you can flicker back and forth, what it does to N64 is incredible. I posted a picture of WWE No Mercy, which is a famous wrestling game. And everybody knows what those wrestling games used to look like. The polygon figures, everything's super edgy. It looked amazing in 50 inches.
Mm-hmm.
And then you throw the lights behind it, and I'm just having a ball. I'm playing Pokemon Snap. I played Mario Golf. I'm going to start playing some stuff. I really played a lot of the wrestling games. Played Blitz. Played NBA Courtside, which, to be honest with you, I completely forgot I even had. But I also remember like how much I loved that game back in the day. He's got Wave Race 64 in the chat. I threw pictures of Wave Race up. Just having a ball. It was worth every penny. Like every penny and then some. I have zero hesitation or regrets recommending this product to anybody that wants to put that. I can understand not wanting to put that much effort into a Nintendo 64. Like it's a lot of investment. It costs more than what most people would pay for their system. I get that.
Yeah.
But,
It feels good. I feel like it feels good to play on that original hardware and have it look better with like you're not emulating. You're playing on your original childhood games.
Yep,
Yeah.
and it feels great with an original controller.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I hooked it up to my TV. It just sits in my entertainment center now. So before, as I mentioned, I have like an old TV that's in my closet. So when I wanted to play a 64, I had to pull out my 64, pull out my TV, set up a separate TV, set up 64, play it, and then eventually get tired that it's all out and put it all back.
Yeah.
Now I could just plug my 64 into my entertainment center and leave it alone. It's just HDMI 2 on my TV, Nintendo 64.
That's really nice.
It's incredible. Like that amount of convenience for something so old to look so good.
Mm-hmm.
It looks so good. And I feel like it looks better in person than does my pictures.
I'm sure it does. Yeah.
Yeah, like it looks amazing on a big screen TV. Like I'm blown. Like Mario Golf looks great. Like I'm like, man, me and my wife are just gonna play Mario Golf for like 4 weeks. So I'm having a ball.
Did you compare Mario 64 to the Mario 3D All Stars 64?
No,
Ooh.
I didn't even turn on Mario 64. Now I will say this. I think I've probably said on the podcast. I felt a little weird playing 3D All Stars like on a Switch. There are certain games that when I play, I want to play like with the 64 controller in my hand. As weird as that bear claw thing is,
that thing was very weird.
So like it's weird to me to play GoldenEye 64 like on a 360 pad. It doesn't feel right. It's weird. It feels. I felt the same way playing Mario. Like playing Mario, especially with I think it's my right thumb being so close to another thumbstick and not being able to like the camera, like it's just feels off when you give me the original controller, like how my memory remembers the game. I almost take right to it. And definitely replaying the 64 this week is really reminding me of that. Knowing how little they touched the game, I would probably prefer to play it on 64 than play the 3D All-Stars version.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. So I've been playing that, and I've been playing Zombieland 2, which is a game that I got from GameStop. They were running like a tax sale last week, and it was one of those deals where you had to buy 4 or 5 things to get like the most discount. So I ended up getting that game for $9, which is a game that I've always wanted to get because I love Zombieland, the movie series, but I knew the game was bad. And I've got to tell you, going into it, knowing that everybody gave this game like 2 and 3 out of 10s, has made me think that I think it's better than.
Wait, is this a Switch game?
Yeah.
I've never heard of this.
It's a twin stick shooter.
Oh, it's a twin stick shooter. Yeah. Is
and
it
they have
co-op?
like I've only played it by myself.
Oh, okay.
But they kind of go back through some of the movie settings, and you've got these really corny comic cutscenes where the dialogue goes back and forth at each other while you're playing it, and it's very like just on the nose about the movie. But that said, I'm actually having a decent time. I do like twin stick shooters though. It's not the best twin stick shooter I've ever played by a long shot. Don't get me wrong. But
it's not a bad game, right?
But it's not bad. It's mediocre.
Not 2 or 3. Like
it's mediocre, but like it plays well. It looks good actually. I've been playing in handheld. I haven't thrown it up on the TV yet, but even in handheld, I'm like, this looks pretty good. Just the fact that it plays well and looks good, I would never rate a game that low.
Right.
For me, if I'm ever reviewing a game, and thank God I don't do it anymore, but when I was doing scores for game, basically I would start here. I would go like, does it play well? I mean, like mechanically, does it play well? Like, is it going to crash? Are you dropping through the geometry right? Like, if it just plays how it's supposed to play, like I'm probably going to give you a 4.
Yeah, like bare minimum.
Yeah, like that's bare minimum. You got to do that. Does it look good? That bumps you up another point or 2, right? So like most games for me, even if they're bad, probably a 6, 5 or 6, just because they play well. If I'm giving something a 2,
there's something wrong.
It's broken. It's broken. Like it looks awful. It plays terrible. It's going to crash your save. Like it's broke.
That's basically how Twinfinite's scale is. We only do 1 through 5, but 1 is like it will not play. You can't reach the end of the game. There's something severely wrong with it. 2 is like, okay, maybe there's some issues, but like it's just not a fantastic game.
This is a very. I think this is a very good game for people that like Zombieland. Like if you like Zombieland and you're into the IP and the tie-in, you'll probably find some entertainment here. It's one of those like it's a mediocre game that a certain person would really like. Everybody has that game. Everybody has a 5 that they love. And that's kind of what this is. It's a 5. If you're into horror movies and you like that, or you're into twin stick shooters, it's a 5 that you'll enjoy. I'm about halfway through. I'm probably 3 hours into it, so it's pretty short too. But remember, I only paid $9 for it. I got it on a cartridge. I got a physical copy for $9. So
nice.
You know, it's really hard to throw stones at. Now, if you bought it for $40, I'd probably be a little more. Right. Yeah, it's like a mobile game. You know, it's not really all that much more than that. But you run around, zombies, hordes come at you from all different angles. You can interact with the environment, like you can turn on cars to like beep their horns and alarms and stuff and draw them away from you. One of the first level you play in the game, you're at a carnival like
Yeah.
the movie,
Yeah,
and you can turn on the rides to like kill the zombies.
Oh, that's
So
kind of
you
cool.
have like the ship come down and just like swipe them all out of the way. And it's it's standard affair.
Is it like power-ups throughout, or is it just a fixed weapon for the characters?
Every character has their own power up, and you level every character up individually. So if you like
Cool.
wanted to level them all up, you could.
Mhm.
And that would give you more replayability. But as you go through the level, there are caches or like trunks of cars and stuff where you can change out your weapons. So you can
Okay.
get like a sword, you can get like Uzis or shotguns, you get grenades, Molotovs, all the standard zombie fighting
Gotcha.
equipment. Yeah,
Cool,
it's
cool.
good. All right. So not knowing how much longer I have until this thing just explodes. Do you see my camera, or is my camera for everybody else like glitching out?
Not,
Just a little
On
bit.
my end,
not
it's
like that.
literally like flickering.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Okay.
fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good for me. I think it's worse for me than it is for you. All right, so let's talk about. It's in the highlight of the show. It's the big news. Bloomberg yet again. Now here's the thing. Takashi Mochizuki, right?
Yeah.
Last night he posted something. I was up. It was like 2 a.m, and he posted a tweet, and I was going to reply to him like, "That's we're done. Like enough. We can't keep this going," because he put out yet another report on the Switch. Now this one I think carries some weight, some real weight, because he cites that he sourced this with multiple developers.
I feel like this is the point where we should have started talking about it, because this, I feel like, is where the rumors actually start having weight.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Except for this is my version of Nintendo Shack, and I'm all about the
I
deep
know.
dives on rumors.
I know.
It's more like
the 7th week
confirmation.
in a row that we're
This
talking
is
about
when
this.
the rest of the Nintendo podcasts in the
Yep.
world will start talking about them. So you are correct.
Ugh.
All right. So this is corroborated by multiple developers on the matter. It is releasing later this year, according to the plan. Plans change.
Did we not say this like 3 weeks ago?
It does. It has a 7-inch 720p OLED screen, which we know, but here's the new one. They're confirming through these developers that it does have a new system on a chip that is equipped with DLSS.
Wow.
So back when we were speculating all of the different ways that Nintendo and Nvidia could be doing this, throw it all out. It's a new system on a chip, new chip with DLS. That means it has tensor cores. Also included in this report, better CPU and more memory, more RAM.
That's actually kind of crazy. I think.
What this means to everybody that's listening to this that don't care about this is a significant leap forward than the current Switch we currently have. This is a significantly more capable device.
Mhm.
So if you were like, Nintendo's going to do it and it's going to be a new 3DS versus the 3DS, no, it's not. This device, just bare minimum based off of what we have here, if it has a new chip, you've got to think it'll be the Tegra is 2016. Like the chip we have now is very old.
It's
So
2014. It's
2014.
It's crazy old.
Any new chip that we have is going to be better architected. So that's a huge efficiency gain at minimum. Could be more than that. Tensor cores, which lets us do DLSS, which lets us upscale, plus CPU and memory. It's a big deal.
That's a generation
It's
leap.
a generational
I
leap.
saw people comparing it to, it's going to be more like from the Game Boy to the Game Boy Color than from the 3DS to the new 3DS. Like it's going to be
it's
like
nothing like
more of a revision than what we were
I-
originally thinking.
I think it's going to be more like the PS3 to the PS4.
I think it's going to be PS3 with DLSS is going to be closer to PS4 Pro.
Yeah. The output, the picture you see on screen is going to look a lot like a last gen console, even though it's only performing like I don't know, like a
a
Yeah,
base
PS3.
model.
it's still like the Switch system. Like they're not making a new. It's like not a new console. They're still
That's-
keeping it in the Switch family.
Well, that brings we don't know,
I don't
but
know.
but I agree.
That's what they've been saying.
I think that's correct, but part of me wants to say that maybe this is becoming. Maybe Nintendo's going to go like the iPad route,
Yeah.
where here's the Switch Pro. It still plays all your old Switch games. Eventually, some new games will only be playable until if you upgrade.
Yeah.
And maybe they just keep upgrading. And maybe there isn't like a Switch 2 or maybe there is a Switch 2, but there's no generational cutoff. Like the iPad can play everything that came on the iPad 1, but if you have an iPad 1, you can't play
Mhm.
a new game. Like maybe they go down that road.
I'm I'm just shocked because Nintendo has never gone down this road before.
No, they haven't.
With a new iteration of their current gen whatever console. Seeing a better CPU and a new SoC, that's gonna be crazy. It's
very not Nintendo to do that model.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have put that question, and the reason that I've heard speculated, I mean, I think this checks out, it makes sense, is there have been reports that NVIDIA wants to stop making the Tegra chip because it's so old. They want to move to new technology.
Yeah.
So they're working with Nintendo on a way to bring them forward. And you've got to think, I can't wait to see the tech dives on this whenever this is unveiled, because they're going to have to do something for backwards compatibility. Like if it's out of the same family, they're going to have like some sort of emulation or some sort of mode or something baked in that lets it all kind of stay a part of the same family. But I didn't expect, this was always the hope, right? When Garrett and I were talking about these, this was the dream. Like, yeah, let's do it big. This looks big. Like
this is big. Yeah.
Breath
This is
of
the
the
biggest
Wild
they can be.
2 will significantly play better on this than what we currently have.
And maybe I'm thinking probably that's why we haven't seen anything about Breath of the Wild 2, because they're probably holding on to it until they're ready to show off this new console, because they know that whatever they show would either give away the fact that it's going to be totally brand new hardware, or like they're just not ready because they're sitting on this, this reveal.
Yeah, no, that's probably true. Performance, I don't think with DLSS it shouldn't be an issue. Like we should be able to have like 1080p 60 docked at least, if not better. 4K upscale 440.
We still think it'll be a Switch handheld and docked.
Yeah, it'll be both.
It better be.
I actually think it's going to be everything. Everybody that has cited, and when I say everybody, I think all rumors originate from Nate the Hate, who seems to have the scoop on this. So I always want to make sure I source people. I think it's going to be in the same case, and I think your Joy-Cons are going to be compatible with it.
Yeah.
So a lot of folks have said that it'll be in the same kind of case. So it'll fit like in your old dock even, or like it won't be able to do all the things it does. But and it does mention that like if with the new system on a chip, if everything's on the Switch, you could even see some improvements like in portable mode, which is another thing, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Now, with this being a whole new architecture, old games, they will perform better just because the system is better, but they'll be capped. For them to unlock the potential of what those old games could do, they will need to be patched. And
we talked about that.
That brings up an interesting point, because Nintendo doesn't really patch like next gen upgrades.
They don't really
They
do this at
usually
all.
sell them. They usually resell them to us.
And maybe we'll get Nintendo Selects again with the released for the Super Switch.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh.
Because I really want to replay Breath of the Wild on this. Before Breath of the Wild 2 comes out, I want to replay Breath of the Wild like in all of its best that it could be on the new Switch.
Yeah, they're gonna resell it to you.
Oh.
It might not be $60, but I could totally see them doing like a Nintendo Selects type thing again, where they're gonna sell it to you for like not $20, but probably $30.
Like an upgrade
it will
fee.
look, so it'll be the same exact game, but it'll be like enhanced for the Super Switch.
So I'm going to let everybody know this ahead of time. I'm going to be a hypocrite, and I'm going to buy that when they do it for Zelda. As much as I hate it when Xbox and PlayStation and third parties do it again, for Zelda, I'll do it. I'm not going to do it for any other thing, but for Zelda, I will totally give them $20 for a patch.
It'll be
If I-
$30.
if I-
It won't be a patch. It'll be in a new case.
Nintendo going to milk
man.
this out as much as they can.
Oh yeah.
I would
$30
think
enhanced version.
Breath of the Wild 2 Deluxe Edition, $90. That'll include Breath of the Wild remastered in some form or fashion in there. I could see that.
Mhm.
Or like, yeah, maybe it's a part of like the new one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be cool. Now, analysts tip that this might come with as much as a $399 price tag. Bloomberg's internal analyst stated $349 will increase the value proposition of the device, but I think Nintendo can drive strong demand even at $400. $400 scares off a lot of Nintendo customers.
Yeah, it does.
That's a hard
me.
sell for an upgrade.
I think this is how they're going to have to market it if it's at this price. It's going to be a premium product, right?
Oh, yeah.
And hopefully, they're still definitely going to be selling the OG Switch or whatever Switch SKU that they're going to have alongside with it at $300. So the Switch Pro might just be the premium product, $50 to $100 more.
How about you do Switch Lite $199, Switch $249, Switch Pro $349.
I was gonna
That
say
would be okay.
if you said $399, I was gonna say no way. But
I mean, I will buy one for $399.
Yeah,
I know you
I would
will.
buy
I know
one
you
for
will.
$399.
Yeah, but you're not going to get 80 million people to buy one for $399. But I was thinking, like, if they announce this with a price cut to the old one.
I think they have to be real careful here because it's a different situation now, and you're going to have people this holiday who are deciding between 3 consoles, whether they want to switch the PlayStation 5 or an Xbox. And I think that, to remain competitive with them, I think it would be kind of silly for them to price it at $399 if it plays this most of the stuff at this point that is on the original Switch. I don't know. I think that would be a tough sell for a lot of people.
I mean, I think
$399 is a tough sell.
$399 is a tough sell, period. But if it does what they're saying it's going to do, right? Like they've basically just backed in because they partner with NVIDIA. They have just fallen into like this magical software that only Nintendo would love to have, right? We're going to give you all the performance that we never want to pay for without having to pay for it. Like NVIDIA is just going to do this for them. If you look at it from that angle, pricing at $399 would be on par because you're basically at PS5 Digital Edition?
Yep.
Both do 4K.
How much are the Xboxes?
Series S.
Series S is $299, but it doesn't do 4K.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm just trying to think because like we're in a bubble, and to me, like I try to pull myself out of that and look at it from the casual market, which is the people who are going to be buying any console. That's who the millions are, and what they would be most likely to buy, if they can only afford one console this holiday.
Yeah. It's also the first holiday. Like their price cuts and things will come later. Mm-hmm. But if they did a price cut on the OG stuff, like even they could probably discount the Switch Lite. Even I saw people say they could go $179 for the Lite. Maybe
that would be a good price for that.
$249 for the OG. So here's the other thing. If the reports are true and NVIDIA does want to phase out the Tegra, then eventually that Switch hardware is going to go away.
Yeah.
Like the Switch Lite and the OG Switch will sell off. And I think if they sell off and you're still at $399 on the Pro, like that's not a good space for Nintendo to be in. They got to be cheaper than that. So I would, if I was to bet, $349 tops.
And it has to be at least $100 difference between the Switch and the Switch
so
Pro.
You cut the OG model, you cut the OG model to $249. You're still making bank on that at that ratio.
You really are.
And you sell the new one at $349, and it will be such a leap forward that I think for the fan that buys for the Nintendo fan that's buying 10 Nintendo games, like that giant attach rate, the upgrade will be worth it. Because you'll be able to see a tangible upgrade.
Well, is there like another? I know there was another rumor about just like the revision of the original Switch. Do you think that still holds true? Like we're gonna get possibly an OLED screen or some kind of improvements to what we have now for the $299 or $249 price.
I would do that later because I think if you introduce them at the same time, then you're undercutting the reason to upgrade to a Pro. There's no reason to upgrade to a Pro for a lot of people if you can have the LED screen at a cheaper price. So I think you do that later. You do the Switch Lite Pro or whatever, down the road next year.
Switch Lite Pro would be very nice.
Yeah, exactly. So like,
are you saying a revision to the Lite?
No,
just like the standard hardware.
The standard Switch. Like we have the Tegra chip. What we have now, are we going to get some type of SKU revision with an OLED screen with it or anything like? Oh, I mean, we've had some rumors about that. I was just wondering.
Well, if the rumors are true if the rumor is true that NVIDIA wants to move beyond the Tegra chip production, then eventually you will need to phase the Switch Lite out or transition to a new Switch Lite type of offer.
Gotcha.
So there could be a new Switch Lite with a lesser chip or no DLS or whatever, but with an LED screen.
Yeah.
But you can't announce them at the same time because you're undercutting the potential of the Switch Pro.
I see what you mean. I still see that Nintendo testing that $3.99 price. I wouldn't put it past them.
I definitely wouldn't either. They sold the Wii U at what, $349, and they never moved. Like they stayed there the whole time. They were, so like I wouldn't put it past them either. Especially think about this. They said in this report, and I think this is the most exciting part of this Bloomberg report, which I totally, by the way, like I opened it up real fast, screenshotted it so I could read it before the Bloomberg, pay us subscription. Yeah. They said that it's going to come with, I believe the word that they use, a bundle of games. Lots of game announcements to be saved for this.
Oh.
So if the software lineup is strong, and think about it,
That's what they need. That's what they need, to be honest.
We already think it's strong, or at least I do, right?
Yeah.
They have Pokemon games, Zelda remasters, Breath of the Wild 2 somewhere out there. Like they got Mario Golf like shortly out in front of it. Like they're saying they're a bundle of unannounced games. If they have a bundle of unannounced games, that can really drive a pro upgrade.
That could shake some, push
Breath of the Wild 2 alone will push hardware, but if you have anything else, if there is a Mario Kart, if there is a Wario game, if there is a Metroid something, like whatever else you have to throw in there, Bayonetta 3, that's how you show off some new hardware right there.
That's definitely how you show off
Big, shiny Bayonetta game. Zelda Anniversary Edition.
I could see it being like our reveal for the original Switch. Do you remember that one trailer where we got everything where it like showed Zelda and it showed Skyrim playing on the Switch, and we're like, oh my god, Skyrim on handheld, and it's like, I feel like it could be one of those things. And then we saw Splatoon, and it's like,
Yeah, I mentioned it on Twitter. I'm very excited. This sounds like what I was hoping was going to be, and I never would buy into that hope. You remember I was like, this is what I want, but Nintendo never does that. Mm-hmm. Sounds like they are, and I couldn't be more ecstatic.
Everything's pushing against it, though, just because of the chip shortage that I see. So they must have something to make these things.
Well, they're stockpiling in advance. That's why I still think this system. I don't think the system launches this fall. I think it launches in March.
I think so too. I think they, as much as they might want to.
I agree. Like that's just the conservative nature in me, like with COVID and everything. That's the same thing, the same reason why I said Breath of the Wild, like just push it until March. There's no reason for them to force it out in November if they can strongly launch it in March. There's really no reason to not wait. It's not like they're losing money. It's not like there's nothing driving them to have to do it.
They're still pushing the original units like crazy these days.
Exactly.
So
the momentum is still strong, so there's no reason to push it out there.
We got Pokemon games coming later this year. We'll be good.
Imagine what Pokemon Arceus is going to look like with.
I feel like maybe the reason why that game looks like the way it did is probably because it's meant for a different Switch model.
That's fair.
Possibly. They need to do a lot more than that, though.
Hobie1K wants to know, do you believe Nintendo Online will get a new platform library that's exclusive to the Switch Pro, like when Super Nintendo Virtual Console was available for 3DS?
That was rough.
Yeah, I think it will.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Like that kind of makes sense.
Gosh, please don't.
I mean, that's such an easy exclusive thing because it's like the core market isn't really missing out because they're not really new games, but it's enticing enough to make you want to upgrade.
Yep. I kind of agree.
I don't like this strategy at all. I'm going to push back. It's like you can easily emulate this on a Switch. Why?
Because you imagine, think about it.
But it's not for the power. It's because
I'm just going to blow your mind. They put some Game Boy games on Nintendo Switch Online for the old Switch owners, but if you upgrade to the new one, you get to play GameCube stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my!
It's not a power thing. It's a lure to get you to buy it.
Oh, I know. Yeah. It's just dumb. I think it's dumb.
It's totally dumb.
It's definitely dumb.
But it works. You know what else is dumb? Making sure you can't buy Mario after March 31st. It was also dumb. But did it work? Yeah, it did.
The SNES Virtual Console did not push me for the new 3DS.
Oh, it totally did for me.
Really?
Oh yeah. Well, I can't
can emulate these things on my PC. Like
if you go back in the podcast feed and you listen to that episode, I am ecstatic that I get to play Mario, Super Mario World on my 3DS. Yeah, totally did.
Ridiculous. Me and Virtual Console, we can emulate this crap on other things. So it's not enticing for me whatsoever. But that's just
But
me.
you have to remember, we're in the bubble. Do you think that
We're in the bubble, yeah.
millions of people don't even know what emulating games means?
I'm sure they just don't care to play GameCube games on a Switch Pro. They would rather they're getting a new system for the games.
No.
I just don't see how it
Nostalgia
pushes it.
sells. It
Yeah.
sells.
I don't like it.
They don't know how to
I don't
download
like it.
ROMs. They don't
I don't
know
like it.
what Dolphin means.
And
So-
if you're like me, I don't want to mess. I know what it is. I just hate messing with it. And it's never, for me, Garrett, plugging in like a USB controller to my PC to play something like that in a little squared window, it's not the same. It doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel as good. You know, like the 3DS was.
I get
Plus
where you're coming
handheld.
at. The ease of user emulation on PC is not ideal for sure. You
Yeah.
have to put some effort into it. It's just me personally. This does not.
and you got to
entice me
venture
whatsoever.
into the dark web. You got to get your ROM some
Not
somewhere.
really dark web, guys. Come on now. We ain't
I don't
putting
know.
viruses on
I
this.
don't know
Find
where
ROMs
you
on
hang out on the
Reddit.
internet.
Oh, I made sure your Vita worked just fine. Okay.
Nice. Carlos, in your opinion, what's the chance we'll see a revision of the Joy-Con if the new Switch arrives this year, early next year? Do they really need to change the triggers, which is interesting, and eliminate the drift? There was a patent that's been circulating. It's not a new patent. That's why I didn't put it in the news. It's actually an old patent. It was just approved. Did you
Yeah.
guys see this?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw that.
I
It
don't
has
think that's what it'll look
I don't like
I
it.
don't think it is either, but it has the D-pad on top, and it has what's pictured looks like a Circle Pro
Yeah,
like
I don't like it.
slider.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you guys about that. Like, what would you hate the idea of having like the circle slider versus a joystick?
You can't do the slider just because you can't click in. If you can't click in, then you're eliminating a lot of games. Right,
I didn't even
okay.
think about that because I didn't mind those little sliders. I
I don't mind the circle pads really either. It's actually the feel of the 3DS. It cramps my hands. The
I
circle
wonder if they
pad
could have
was
like
fine.
haptic where you could like tap it.
You could. You'll have to invite some pressure into it.
Yeah,
and
you will.
then you can only you pressure in a lot when you get tense in that circle pad. Like with certain games. Like I remember playing Luigi's Mansion. I was like using that circle pad pretty rough.
I got to tell you, I don't really have any issues with the triggers. I know they're like just button presses. There's no
Yeah.
pressure or movement
They're
on them, but
clicky. They're
Well, I
not
can-
great.
I can get over those for the sake of for the form factor. They're small. Like you can't have big pushy triggers on something so small.
I think you could keep the same shape, just have that feel of like an Xbox or a DualShock controller where you have some.
That trigger is a lot bigger than.
No, I'm not saying the big of it, but just like you can go halfway or you can go full on into the trigger as a button, right?
Yeah. I get that, but like when
Yeah.
you pull that trigger in, it's got to go into the Joy-Con.
Yeah,
There's not
it's
a whole lot of space there. You'd have to make the Joy-Con much bigger to do that.
no,
Even if you
I'm
kept the
saying
same
just
size.
I'm just saying like a spring, like curling in instead of a button pushing in.
I
That's
gotcha.
all I'm saying. Yeah.
There's
I think
patents.
that's fine
As for
enough.
the patent, like there's patents all the time for all sorts. Like I think they make
Oh,
those,
yeah.
but that doesn't necessarily mean that product is actually ever going to exist. And I think that the design, I don't think that one ever
The
will
quality
exist.
of the
Right.
Nintendo quality of life patent that we'll never see.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
I think there will be some slight differences or revisions, but like you said, I think everything will be compatible to use the old Joy-Cons with this. I think it would be silly for them not to.
Yeah, I think the rail and the communication will be the same.
I don't think there's going to be any differences to prevent drift or anything like that. I mean, that can happen on any controller, not just the Joy-Con. But I don't
posted
think
the
they'll change
video.
it for that.
The Joy-Con, the mechanism that causes the drift in the Joy-Con is also present in the PlayStation and the
It's
Xbox
in
controllers.
everyone. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
in
they're
every.
all using like the same part,
Mhm,
and it's just those washers wear out.
mhm.
Yeah,
Um,
they ripped apart on mine.
I do, and I feel like I've defended Nintendo almost too much for this, and I don't mean to come off like a homer. I just feel like Nintendo is like they've reached this point where everybody online on Twitter just assumes that every Joy-Con drifts forever, and I know that's not true. I've had too many Joy-Con that don't drift that I have not had an issue with, and it's not just me. You know, like just because Twitter says it doesn't mean it's, you know, like we've ran with like 98% of all Joy-Con drift, and it's like, it's probably more like 28% of all
People
Joy-Con drift.
complain when it happens to them, but nobody says when it doesn't happen to them. So
Yeah.
it just seems like it happens more often.
And I think it's become, because of like the Kotaku articles and the headlines, it's become a really popular thing for people, you know, because then you've got everybody sharing it. People who don't even own Switch Joy-Cons, you know, are sharing it. And I just think it's gotten a little out of the barn with that. I don't think it's as bad as people say, but I do know
Good.
it's an issue, definitely, right? It is an
Yeah.
issue, but Nintendo is also fixing that issue. Like,
I
you
just
can have
don't
them
think
share.
they're going to completely reimagine these Joy-Cons
No.
because of that issue, but I think they're going to go to the drawing board like, okay, what kind of
we fix
material? Yeah. Can we fix this? Can we make it a little bit more durable that these people are getting this issue like
But
me?
they won't mention it. They won't
They
say.
won't.
And to prevent drift, like they'll not even recognize
Of course.
that it was
Of course
ever-
not. Yeah.
Mhm.
I think I think a lot of people I've heard in just the Nintendo community, I just personally, anecdotally, everyone has experienced this Joy-Con drift issue at least once. And now I know we're not,
To be fair,
we're in our own bubble too.
I'm not saying it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Like half the people in PSVG has had it. I just feel like collectively on the internet, like there is the
Well,
impression.
people are yelling. For
it's
sure.
the impression that they're all broken.
I
And
have
it's
my
like, guys,
second issue now.
they've sold 80 million Switches. That means there's at least 160 million Joy-Con. I guarantee you.
My Animal Crossing character walks left if I don't move my controller.
Oh, that sucks.
I just think they're gonna try to, I don't know, make it
I
more
hope so.
durable some way. It's gonna be the same Joy-Con though. It's gonna literally be the same stick. It's just gonna be different
It'll
material.
look pretty
probably.
much similar with some slight differences.
Mm-hmm.
I would love. I mean, obviously, I think we all would love to see them fix it. So I hope they do.
Mhm.
I'm very excited.
Swappable.
I'm interested in seeing, like, do they drop haptics or anything like that?
I don't know about haptics right now. I mean, they are the Nintendo company though. They love
Do they
having
drop
some
the camera in one of them or anything like that?
a camera. No, camera is so 2010.
Like, because you know, like the one has the camera in it, and like Labo
No,
uses
he's
it.
talking about the sensor.
Yeah, the sensors that the
Oh.
Joy-Con have. Like, do they drop any of that to make some room to make some improvements? Like,
I see what you mean now.
'Cause
I don't
they're-
think so.
there are cool things that they have in them, but they're not really utilized. You know, like the sensor, like the haptics. Like, we don't use that a bunch.
Ring Fit, you use it a bunch.
I
for
feel like
sure.
if they drop it, there will be so many compatibility issues.
Yeah.
There could be some. There could be some.
And just functionality within games too that we don't normally use, but I'm sure there's modes out there that if you
Sure.
try to drop them, it's gonna be weird.
Okay. Sammy Doom, do you think the possibility of a high-end Switch will fracture the large base Nintendo has with the base model? I think they're, I mean, personally, I think that's kind of what I think that's what they're trying to do to make sure it's a part of the family, is to not fracture that base. But like the iPads, like did the iPad 2 fracture the iPad base? The iPad 3 fracture the iPad
That's
base?
a different comparison. That's not fair.
But we don't know that it's all that different, right? Because we're looking at it from a traditional video game console, and the Switch is anything but that. It is a tablet, and they're upgrading it.
When you're like making a new console, you're always fracturing a base, right? We're seeing this with the PS4 and PS5 transition being slow, and seeing that base is being fractured a lot, right? With this Switch model, though, it's hard to say you're fracturing it just because all the Switch games are going to be really playable on the OG Switch too.
Definitely Nintendo's.
Yeah, Nintendo's games, right?
Like this report, I fully expect that the Switch Pro will have exclusive games. There will be games that are only possible to be played on the new hardware.
Xenoblade Chronicles X.
It won't be Nintendo's games. I don't think it'll be Xenoblade.
So, like, you think stuff like Splatoon 3 will release on both?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't expect Nintendo, not until the
Pokemon
Switch
Legends.
Pro, not until the Switch Pro has a very good base. They're not going to cut over like that. Nintendo is going to support both because they can. Now, does that mean Breath of the Wild 2 is going to run at 22 frames a second at 720p? It might, but they're going to make sure it runs on both. Now, is Call of Duty or Madden or anything else that a third party might bring over, are they going to make sure it runs on both? Probably not, right? Because there's probably not enough money in it for them to do that. But I actually think a big part of this is keeping Nintendo somewhat close to the consoles so they can continue to have third-party support because the Switch is very old in the tooth at this point.
Yeah. I think they'll have one Nintendo game that's exclusive. One early Nintendo game. And I think it's going to try to just push the hardware as hard as it can, but it's not going to be a popular Nintendo game.
What did you say?
I said Miitopia.
Miitopia.
No,
That's exactly it.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past them, but I don't think so. I think they'll wait. If the Switch Pro gets to 30, 40 million, then I think maybe, they might come out and be like, hey, you've got to upgrade at some point. You know, you've had your Switch for 6 years. Like, we can't keep making games for that anymore. Like, you got to upgrade. And I think that kind of just does, like, you just do that over time. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm very interested. I would love to see somebody, like, after they announce this, I want to see somebody ask Doug Bowser the question, like, hey, like, is the Switch, like, just your new platform? Are you going to continue to reiterate on this every 3, 4, 5 years going forward?
He would give some kind of vague, canned answer that isn't really a real answer.
I know.
We're always striving to innovate, and while the Switch is in the middle of its life cycle, we can't say for certain right now, but we do know that we continue to look at what's popular and how to innovate in today's market.
Man, she's got it down pat.
He's got it perfectly.
Hire her, Nintendo. Hire her.
Are you executing Mario?
Coffee Princess, will the rumored Switch Pro cause an issue with developers having to now develop for two systems like the 3DS XL and the new 3DS XL? Or will there be games that are for the new Switch only? Okay, there's two answers here. I think for a lot of the Nintendo Switch developers that are of the indie community, like Image and Form and things like that, their games are going to run on both perfectly anyway. So it doesn't matter.
Easily, yeah.
They don't care. For Nintendo, they also kind of fall more into that boat than the other boat. They'll be fine. The other folks, the bigger publishers, I think they'll try because there's 80 million Switch Lights and OG Switches out there. You don't want to just turn off that potential sale.
Right.
But I mean, as ports of newer games come over, right? If you get like Resident Evil Remake or something on Switch Pro, it's going to be possible to run on Switch Pro, and it's probably going to get to a point where it's either not worth the money to pay somebody like Panic Button to do the port, or it's not going to run well enough like on their own.
Yeah.
So in those scenarios, it's easier to just put it on the Pro. I don't want to get too game techy here, but I still want to like venture down the idea. Is it possible that at some point in the future, 2 or 3 years from now, you have games that can run natively on the Switch Pro, but you can stream them on the Switch Lite?
Rebecca's saying no.
Well, you can stream Control in the Switch Lite right now.
You could, but I think those are going to be... I think the cloud gaming is more of an instantaneous thing. It's not going to be like an open access, super viable option. It's going to be like, hey, we're going to try this out and see how it goes. I don't see it going to be a big, huge avenue for the OG Switch players.
That's one way. Just throwing it out there. That's one way to keep the old hardware legacy going. Is like, your Switch Lite can't run Breath of the Wild 4, but you can stream it. Like, that is a potential way just to kind of bridge the gap. I'm just throwing it out there. What do you think, Rebecca?
I don't know. I don't really see Nintendo diving into that right now. I feel like that would just kind of muddy things and kind of make it confusing for people whether to upgrade. I feel like that's just not like a reason. I think it would mess with their marketing. Like, it would discourage people from upgrading.
I totally agree. That's what I was saying, like, just years down the road. Like, eventually when we reach this, like, event horizon where it's like, you gotta get the Switch Pro or not.
But even years later, they're going to be done with the Switch. They're not going to care. They're going to be shutting things down.
Good point. Our last question comes from Brendan. What could Nintendo do to keep developers making games for the current Switch if there is a Pro?
I mean, they don't really need to do anything, to be honest with you. I
think Nintendo has already done all the motivation they can.
Yeah.
The reason you make your games playable on the OG Switch is to sell to that market of customer.
Yeah.
If you want to sell 10 million copies of your game, it's going to be hard doing that if you limit yourself to just this select group of people. So, like, there is not a responsibility. There is an incentive for the developers to support the entire platform.
Oh yeah, just like make more money. Just like how
more
Sony
money.
is making PS4 versions of their new games, their new like new games that are coming out this year or whatever. They still need to serve an audience that for millions of people. Switch is just a huge audience base right now. And then having the Pro out later this year or even early next year, it's like it's not going to be even close to the base that we have now for the Switch.
No,
For
it's
years. It's going
for
to take years.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. Now this does extend the Switch's life cycle
It does.
quite a bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
this
I'm
is very
very-
capable hardware.
For sure.
I'm very hesitant of like, how are they going to shut this OG Switch down? But that's going to be more far-flung future prediction stuff. So
I
we can
agree.
talk about that later.
Monster Hunter Rise reviews came in, and
Yeah.
they are stellar across the board. It's currently sitting OpenCritic at about an 87. It's got very high praise technically.
So
from
my
Digital
fantasy
Foundry.
critically,
I'm so
Yeah.
mad.
17 points. Let's go.
I did watch Digital Foundry's take because I am interested in RE Engine running on Switch, and they're
Yeah.
very, very just congratulatory over the animations, the way the game runs, its performance. It seems like Monster Hunter Rise is really a stellar kind of showcase game to show off to people.
Mhm.
And while it's not Monster Hunter World in realism and resolution, the different take on style is actually very pretty in its own right.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of particle effects and things that are very impressive for the Switch's hardware. And I thought that was really, really cool. It's got really high review scores from all the big outlets. Eurogamer with the big headline, quote, "The best Switch game since Breath of the Wild."
That's a
bold.
big statement.
That's a bold
That's a really,
statement, guys.
really big statement.
See if it pans out.
I saw, I forgot his name, but somebody mentioned, it was the Washington Post journalist, said that this is the most inviting Monster Hunter for new
Yeah.
players.
For beginners,
They
yeah.
always say that though. That's the thing with Monster Hunter World. That was the same thing, and for this one. But let me reassure you, it is still Monster Hunter.
It got me to read the article. I was like, maybe. And then I read the article, and he said something along the lines. I took a screenshot. It was like, if grinding monsters to get new gear isn't for you,
And Donnie's
you-
like, nope.
Yeah. exactly. I was like, oh no, never mind.
Really?
Still the same thing. I'll see
It
you
is
with
the same game.
Monster Hunter stories.
Yeah.
Kaiju writes into the show.
It's a long.
Hello, Shaquettes. It's a new one.
That is.
It's been a great journey leading into the launch of Monster Hunter Rise, having more people in the community like Elaine that are fans of the franchise and new members since the launch of World that like Monster Hunter is amazing. Especially excited that Garrett is getting the game now.
Yeah.
As a longtime fan of the franchise, I'm so excited to see the series return to handheld. I cannot wait for PSVG Hunting Nights. My question for Garrett,
Oh no.
what made this game stand out to you as something you wanted to try? And did I play any role in that decision? And for the others that aren't getting it, what makes you shy away from the franchise? And what changes would you make to make the game something that you would like?
Okay, so I've seen Monster Hunter quite a bit ever since the 3DS days, and PSP as well. I've always wanted to get into it. The problem with the 3DS one is that, before the new 3DS, it didn't have the second stick, so it was very hard to control the camera or whatever. And then when the new 3DS came in, and I did have Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate in there or something, it's just so hard to play that game because it's a 3D action RPG in a 3DS. That's kind of hard to do, and it's kind of hard to manage, and it's hard to control. And I love that gameplay loop, though. I was talking about Void Terrarium. I love progressing and going through these expeditions and grinding. I do like the grinding. What stands out to me with Monster Hunter World and also Monster Hunter Rise is actually two things. One thing is it is more inviting. The load times, it's just all one map, all one expedition. So that's very nice. You haven't seen that before in a Nintendo Monster Hunter game. They've been segmented off quite a bit. And also you get to play, I get to play with a lot of people, with friends that can help me and teach me how to go through these expeditions. And playing with them, and also just like with Monster Hunter Rise, it's just there's a huge Switch community, and I can develop a character from the ground up. So
Nice.
That's my answer.
For me, Kaiju, grinding games have never been my forte. That is said, I've always found Monster Hunter like needlessly complex. I've tried Monster Hunter 4 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
And in both cases, it was very left like unaware, not what to do. I get what to do, go on the expedition, fight the monster. But like all of the gear upgrades and combinations and stats, like that's so, I never want to do that in any game. I don't do that in any other game that I play.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I think that's the biggest hurdle for me to clear. That's why I'm not really into the series. Add on top of that this is really a multiplayer focused game. That's a swing and a miss for me. I mean, I'm trying to play It Takes Two now. Just trying to find a partner to play that like one night a week is hard enough, let alone a 400-hour Monster Hunter game where you got to be in a party the whole time. Like, it's just never going to happen. It just doesn't fit into my lifestyle. So what can they do? They can make Monster Hunter stories. That's for me.
Good.
I like the first one, and I'm totally going to buy the second one eventually. I'm not going to buy it day one because it's coming out a week before Skyward Sword is, but I will buy that game on Switch. Definitely. So
I tried one of the ones on the 3DS. I don't even remember which one, and I tried it, and I had no idea what I was doing, and I was not really feeling particularly motivated at the time to like research and learn what the heck I was doing. Like, it didn't seem very newcomer friendly. I probably didn't give it a fair chance, but that kind of turned me away from it. Plus, also, I just feel like it's also not super my type of game. Like, I don't know, is there like a compelling story or characters or anything? Not really. And also, I don't know. I would feel very bad for the monsters that I'm killing. Like, I don't want to see that. They're very cute, and like, I'm just not really into that. I would probably feel more sad than having fun.
I do think Monster Hunter could go a long ways of streamlining the onboarding process for new players. They could make that a little easier.
It was just like options, in like the beginning. Like, I was like, what?
That sounds like Monster Hunter 4. Like, that's what I ran into. I was just like,
Yeah.
Is that on
God.
3DS?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
original 3DS? I think that was maybe
There was
one.
Monster Hunter 3 and 4, but yeah.
It was probably
both,
one of those.
both
I
of
rented
them
it from
were
the
like that.
library. So I had a week with it.
It makes sense. I think Monster Hunter World did a much better job of bringing in newcomers, and they open the options up slowly. So hopefully they'll do the same for Rise. Also, I think a big thing on this that I found very interesting is previous Monster Hunter games are not versatile. They're not fast. This one has wire bugs. You can go up heights pretty high, and like you can ride the dog Palamute stretching across like the whole map. I think it's really cool that there's a lot more versatility to this versus previous ones. So
I'm excited for you guys.
I can't wait.
Can't wait to hear about it.
I'm ready to dive into it. Hopefully I'll play with Kaiju and all the other PSVG crew. And there's a lot of people in our Discord that are excited.
And for those of you that haven't joined the Discord, you can at discord.com/PSVG or what is it? PSVG.blog/Discord. And we have a monster hunting tag. So you can be added to the tag, and anytime somebody's looking for a party, we'll probably set up maybe its own room, I think, just to kind of separate you guys. If you guys
can have a voice
playing.
channel room, and
Yeah, I think we'll set something
and I
like that
can
up.
stream my Switch into Discord, and that would be dope too.
Nice. Very nice. A new Pikmin game was announced this week
What?
for mobile phones,
Oh,
developed
no.
by Niantic, the Pokemon Go company.
It came out of nowhere. They just were like, tweet.
Well, I think what happened was it was leaked.
Oh,
so
was
then
it?
they followed up the announcement with a
Oh.
leak. Yeah,
I
I think
didn't
that's
know
what
it was
happened.
leaked. Oh.
Yeah. Miyamoto got a quote. Niantic AR technology has made it possible for us to experience the world as if Pikmin are secretly living all around us, Miyamoto said in a statement. Based on the theme of making walking fun, our mission is to provide people a new experience that's different from traditional games. We hope that the Pikmin in this app will become a partner in your life. Sign-up page is already available for alerts and possibly early access. They usually do that.
They really gave no information about it at all. Now that you say that it was leaked and it was just kind of, they were force of hand to show it, that makes a lot more sense now why they didn't say anything at all. But I read somewhere, I can't remember what the quote was or who it was by. I guess it was from a Niantic rep or something saying it's not going to be like Pokemon Go. Because
Correct.
I was, as soon as I saw it was Niantic and stuff, I was kind of thinking through my mind of like, what could this possibly be? But it sounds like it's going to be something totally different.
I just recently signed up for a walking app that'll let me save points to get like a gift card. I don't think Nintendo's about to give gift cards, but I was wondering if it's going to be like some sort of a walking companion that as you do steps, like your Pikmin start to, explore a world or something. Like, how like when you're playing the Pikmin game, your job is to collect them so they can do tasks.
Mm-hmm. And the more Pikmin you have, the more you can do.
Maybe it's something like that. Like the more you walk, the more Pikmin you get, the more they can do. Like you level up. It's just kind of a walking companion. That's where my head was with it.
Yeah. And they have all of this data with Pokemon Go, and they have a couple other apps. They have the I forget what their first one was, but they also have
Inverse.
the Inverse, and then they have the Harry Potter app too.
Yeah.
They've collected so much map data that that will absolutely be used here somehow with like probably waypoints similar to like the Pokestops and the Pokemon gyms and whatnot.
Pikmin boss battles that you and people can.
Well, now you're thinking too much like Pokemon Go. Like that was my thought too. But if it's going to be something very different, what else?
I still think you could have like those events, but that's a good point. I don't know.
Like I feel like that's immediately where our thoughts go. But if they're saying it's going to be quite different,
I'm going to level with you guys. I don't care. I don't do level games.
I don't care much about this though, but I'm trying to imagine a Pikmin game in a phone. Like I just think of like you're just running across random battles and you have your Pikmin and you just throw them.
I'd rather them make an actual Pikmin game for phones because unlike Mario Kart Tour, the touchscreen interface would work really well with Pikmin.
It kind of would.
Swipe, you could circle to round them up. I mean, that works.
I would check this game out. I definitely will check it out, but I will only play it because the reason why I don't play main series Pikmin is because I get very distressed when my Pikmin die. It's very upsetting to me. So if they don't like die in a really distressing way in this, I'll definitely check it out.
Oh, they'll die.
Andros says, I hope it's like a worker placement game. You go to Pikmin stops and you can send your Pikmin to collect things. At the end of your play session, you call them back to get stuff to upgrade your character and gear.
That's another cool way of going about it.
That makes sense.
So less of a game and more of, like you said, kind of like a companion for like when you go on walks or go to the store or something.
Yeah. And the more you do, the better you get at it.
That sounds pretty chill, and they won't die in a really upsetting way, so I would like that. It would encourage me to walk more again. Yeah, no, it's very upsetting.
You should see Persona games. They just rip them apart.
What if they come out and they're like, you have to do 10,000 steps today or the Pikmin get it?
Man, I'm getting fit. I'm going to get very fit.
They show your little ghost Pikmin.
Yeah. Buff.
No. Help us, Rebecca. Garrett.
Yeah, just real quick, Donnie.
Oh my
we got confirmation Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD is released May 25th for Nintendo Switch, also on PC and PS4. The base game is MSRP is $50 USD, and the deluxe version is $20 more at $70.
That's better than you thought.
I didn't care for those prices, but I'm thinking about it more and more again. Previous Shin Megami Tensei games on the 3DS, 4 and 4 Apocalypse, they're $50 too. So I'm like, okay, they're more of a premium, richer price.
Yeah, when the price was first released or unveiled, Garrett was afraid that it was going to be $60. To which my response was, why are we still having this conversation? We've had this conversation way too many times. Garrett, they're all $60. All of it. Miitopia, all of it.
No.
It's all $60.
I don't want it.
If it's on your Switch and it's a full retail game, it is $60. And just be happily surprised when Tony Hawk is 40. Like, just be happily surprised when it's not.
I know. Anyways, the deluxe version includes 4 days early access. Atlus has been doing this deluxe version, and you get it 4 days early. So
I like it.
If it works for them and people like it, sure. I don't mind it.
I said this back when, little tangent. You remember when Bethesda said they were no longer doing like press review copies ahead of release? I think this is a really great way of letting like your most fervent fans pay extra for a little good, like a little bonus. I've said this for a long time. I think Game Pass games should come early to people that subscribe to Game Pass.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing if you're like, hey, the press embargo on our game is out a week earlier before it releases. But if you give us $15 more, we'll let you in on it too. Like digital only, I would so much rather them do that than microtransactions, than gotcha mechanics, than all the things they're doing. I would so much rather have that.
That's an absolute nightmare because for certain games, I would have to do that to play early because I can't wait, but I don't want it digitally.
I still think it's one of those things where you can totally not do it if you wanted to.
Wait, you don't understand. If it was Zelda, if it was Splatoon, I can't wait.
I think it kind of levels the playing field and it allows like some smaller outlets or smaller people or individuals or stuff, allows them to be there early with reviews. Like if you're really into that, would you pay $15 to be there?
I think a lot of people would.
Then I would have to rebuy it physically.
And that makes them more money. There's no downside to what you're saying.
There's a big downside to what I'm saying.
But it's just to you. Like, I would totally buy Mario Golf for $70 to play it.
Aren't you going to buy it physically too?
I would wait so I have done that. I have bought games, but I usually wait for a sale on the physical copy. I'll wait until I can get it for cheaper.
What first-party game is going on sale in the first 7 years of its life?
I just got Mario Party for $32. Like, it happens.
Mario Party.
But it happens. Breath of the Wild has been down to $40. It happens.
Oh, okay. So I'm paying $60 and then $40. Okay.
You can get a used copy off of eBay.
No.
Why do you need a physical copy day one? That's the question.
What?
Why do you need a physical copy day one?
For my collection.
Well, I mean, you could get your physical copy
10
later.
years later.
Like 3 years later.
Chris says we're in the minority, physical digital.
I know, but it's some money that I have to pay.
I agree, but the numbers bear out that digital's like half. We're not in the minority. It's like a half.
Well,
and half.
it's growing.
It is growing. Don't get me wrong. It's growing, but it's not, 80-20. It's like 55-45. It's not the minority.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, let me finish this out. The deluxe version includes that, and also the Maniacs pack, which adds Dante from the Far Cry series. The Chronicle pack adds Rado from the Dead or Alive series, but that's free DLC.
That's cool.
And Merciful difficulty, which is like an easier difficulty setting, that's free as well. And then and then map packs, and then song packs. The one thing, besides Donnie's laughter, the marketing of this was very weird. The deluxe version, it kind of advertised all these DLCs included in this pack, but the Maniacs or the Chronicle pack and the Merciful difficulty, the easier difficulty, is free. And so I had to really read into it to make sure that this wasn't behind a paywall. If Merciful difficulty was behind a paywall, I would have been a little pissed off by that. Just because you're paying more to get an easier difficulty, that doesn't make sense. But then I read a previous article a few months ago. The developers are like, hey, this Merciful difficulty is going to be for free. But they didn't market it as that. I wish they did for their base game. But anyways, this is a modernized version of the PS2 Classic from 2003. That's why I think $50 is a little much. We see Persona 4 Golden on Steam for $20. This
completely different.
No, it's not, because this is going to be on Steam.
But then buy it on Steam. It'll be cheaper on Steam faster.
Yeah, it's already $10 cheaper.
See? It's a different thing. When you put it on Switch, you pay for a premium for software.
That's not true with this one, though, right? Because it's multi-platform. I'm not going to buy this on Switch if it's more expensive. That's just going to be me.
Right, but if you're going to buy it on Switch, you are going to pay more for it.
No, it's the same price as PS4 and Steam. That's the thing.
I thought you just said it's cheaper on Steam.
Well, if you go third party, if you go to Green Man Gaming.
Of course. And we know a week after release, you'll get it half off on Steam.
Anyways, these guys, these games are always on sale. So just wait for a sale and you'll be good.
I think that's good. Good. I like that you're looking out for people's wallets.
I think other people are on the same boat as me too. I saw Romain that's a little high price. I know some other Nintendo.
Oh, I agree with you. I just think no, don't get me wrong. I agree with you. I'm not going to buy this, and I wouldn't. It's the expectation that it would be different that I disagree with, because that's the expectation is just not.
Yeah,
that's never going to work because it's never going to be.
Yeah, just wait for Shin Megami Tensei 5. There you go. It's coming out maybe this year. No, I'm thinking
Switch
next
Pro,
year.
Baby.
Switch Pro, maybe.
The bundle of games.
Yeah.
What could bundle mean? Rebecca, bundle? A bundle of games? How many is a bundle? It's like at least 5.
At least 4 or 5.
Yeah, at least 5. That's a lot. Rebecca, hit us with some questions.
All right. I think are most of these from previous weeks?
I added a bunch today. Shivs will stay because it's long. We'll save it for another week.
Should I just go top to bottom here?
Just pick out whichever one you want to answer first.
Mm-hmm.
Ask better questions. If you ask the best question that Rebecca wants to ask, then that's the one that'll get on the show.
I didn't look.
Ooh, let me. Antis
go for
Glitches says, "You three are doing an incredible job each and every week. Thank you so much."
Thank you very much.
Question: what is your best pitch to innovate for Mario Kart 9? Guys, Switch Pro. Get excited. Get hyped. Get your mind. Like let's raise everybody's expectations through the roof. Rebecca's face.
I don't know. The thing that I feel like the exciting thing is that they come up with something that I didn't even know I wanted. Like the gravity, that was brilliant. The parasails, I never would have thought of that.
I think the innovation I'm thinking of, I hope it's as seamless to drive around and into courses like Forza Horizon or like Diddy Kong Racing. The Mario Kart we have now is just like, pick a course, here's these 4 courses, here's these 8 racers. No, I want it more fluid in terms of like what character I'm choosing, what's the card I'm choosing, and I want get granular on that too if we want to, right? That's what I would enjoy off of a Mario Kart 9.
Story mode.
Sure. A
My
space
first-
embassy type of thing.
I wrote a couple things down. The first thing I wrote down was a Diddy Kong style Grand Prix.
Yeah.
You guys know how I feel about Sonic All-Stars Racing and Diddy Kong Racing. I would love to go back to like boats and planes and cars. Like get crazy with
everything.
it.
Yeah.
I would love to see balance in courses that are made for each one. Or if you take the Sonic approach, where every course, like each lap, you do one as its own thing and it keeps transforming. I think transforming carts could be a lot of fun, especially with customization. But innovation, that's not really innovation. Innovation, I think it would be cool to have. Hear me out, and it's going to be a little in the weeds. Character-specific power-ups.
Okay.
Ooh, no, I don't like that.
So one of the things that I don't like about the current Mario Kart is that there are certain kart racer combinations that are just better than others. And I would
very minimally.
I don't think so.
Like if you're racing on like some kind of
If you're racing competitively, you're like
Yeah.
Metal Mario and you're on a bike.
Yeah, so by making character-specific power-ups, you're only making that more evident.
Or you're giving different carts and I think you're looking at the opposite way. I would like to level the playing field a little bit with different type of things. Like,
but I feel like the way that it is right now is so minimal that if you're playing with all items casually online, it doesn't matter who you pick. You can still come in first no matter what.
Yeah, with items.
With
Nobody
items. Who plays Mario Kart competitively.
But like I think they've done like the Super 8 and like they've got like weird power-ups that you get every. I think it'd be cool if there were like if there was like a I don't know, like a magic or a question block or something, and like if you hit that with Yoshi, you got something Yoshi specific. Or if you hit that with Mario, you got something Mario specific. I don't know like what that is, but like just adding a little more flavor to that.
A little bit more variety there.
I think
there
would
could
be really cool.
Custom power-ups with characters. You're going to have to balance that pretty well.
I mean,
ultimately,
I want more balance.
Instead of doing that, I would rather them add more Nintendo characters and not really worry about.
I would like more IP. You could smash it. Like I'm all for that.
And get all the Fire Emblem characters on it. That'd be fantastic.
I'm all for that.
That
sounds
Samus,
great.
Give me Kirby.
Third-party characters, that would be cool. What about a course creator? We've got them.
It could be okay.
It's a lot harder, right? Because it's not like Mario Maker where everything is very simple. Like Mario Kart is a big, beautiful game. Like how much could you do with a course creator?
Even if you could just draw like the course that you want and like the whole
fills in
background's the same for you, like maybe you would have like a Rainbow Road track and everything's kind of how Rainbow Road currently looks, but you draw kind of what you want the track to look like and then it auto does it for you. Custom
battle maps? That's easier.
That would be great.
Yeah. That'd be a lot more fun. Just give
us battle mode.
I feel like just a old record at this point. But yeah, battle mode, legit battle mode. I'd be excited for any of that stuff to come. But yeah, not my issue. It's not the issue. It's just that I do wish that I wish all of the variety across carts and everything were a little bit closer than I think they are now. Because I like the chaotic, arcadey nature of Mario Kart.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that'd be more fun.
Cool.
Yarden wants to know what's the final recording before Mario's demise on March 31st. Could you all just say a few kind words about him?
Rest in peace, dude.
We've only known you for 35 years. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry Nintendo's going forth with this. We don't agree with it either, but
nah, it's super dumb.
Mario,
we're a slave to them, so what can we do?
The best thing you did for us was introduce us to Yoshi. Thank you for doing that.
Yoshi's super cool. I still can't believe we just know Mario 35. It's just gone forever.
I can't believe it either.
I'm going to make sure I play that at least one more time this week.
I decided on the 31st, I'm going to have a Mario dedicated stream, and I definitely want to play at least Mario 35.
You've got to stream it until they cut the server. You got to stream it. You got to be live.
Oh,
the server's just you're done.
Do we know if it's going to be at midnight? Is it going to be do we know?
I have no idea. I haven't looked into it that much, but I feel like if you're a streamer, you need to capture that moment online.
Yeah, and then it'll say this service is no longer available.
There's some
Miiverse.
games that
people do that with Miiverse.
They cut some games back in PS3 era, but there are people that are still in the lobby. And they just kept their PS3s running for years because they're still in there.
Oh my gosh.
That'd be amazing.
Wow.
I would love to see if somebody. There's no way. Nintendo's just
No, it'll come up
server.
saying error, communication error or something.
But it'd be amazing if they did. It'd be awesome if they did.
Yeah.
What if you were you documented you were the last Mario 35 winner? You win.
Somebody has to be.
Service goes offline. You're the champ. You've done it.
Somebody's going to be the last winner. It could be you.
That's really good.
If you are the last winner, you should get the game for free.
Why?
Only you get to keep it.
Only you can play.
It's like those Labo Joy-Cons.
Which is the stupidest game to be the only one to have play it because you need 34 other people.
That's so funny. You get to choose who. It's a private lobby from that point forward.
Yeah.
You get to choose who gets to come in.
Super Mario Bros. At that point.
Nintendo, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's kind of a mess.
Do we want to do more, or are we out of time?
How about 117? And I got to cut apparently 10 minutes of Garrett trying to explain that same thing over and over again. So
live for 138.
oh, my bad.
Yeah,
our numbers are different. Yeah, let's do one more, and then we'll call it quits.
Okay, I like this. Okay, this one from Ryan. What feature peripheral from a previous console would you like to see make an appearance on the Switch? Or it could even be our new Super Switch. Mii Plaza, better selection of virtual console games, background music, peripherals to play older games. Man, I still want to see themes and folders. I feel like we've been saying that. I feel like I need a better answer because I've been saying that so much.
I'd rather have Street Pass with themes and folders.
That's the thing.
Yeah, I want Street Pass.
I don't know, Street Pass, would it be a local thing or would it be just something online connectivity?
I like the idea of it being local. I want a reason to take my Switch to the grocery store with me for no reason.
It's just a little big to me.
I have a purse.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
See, Garrett, you need a bag.
I need a satchel.
Get a satchel.
Nice
Guys
satchel.
wear backpacks. It's not weird or anything.
I know it's not weird. It's just I don't want to take a backpack to the grocery store.
I carried a laptop bag, a canvas laptop bag in high school, and totally got made fun of for having a purse for 2 years of my life. And then you fast forward 7 years, and that really was an in thing there for a moment. A lot of people were doing that. Yeah, I was was ahead of the curve.
I mean, I still always bring my backpack to school. I mean, I still go to school. So
yeah,
it's not weird. People do it.
As much, and I would love to have it on Switch. I don't know, maybe more than themes. I love themes on 3DS. Don't get me wrong, I have a lot of them.
Give me the freaking themes, man.
But I'm really surprised we don't have Street Pass on our phone. God, that seems to make a bajillion sense. Put it in the Nintendo app online.
I feel like that's what Miitomo should have been. Remember that?
Yeah.
Miitomo?
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
no,
they
that's
should-
What a
totally
missed
should have been it.
opportunity.
They should make, like a couple mobile developers to make a cute little couple Mii games, put it in the Nintendo Switch Online app to give you more of a reason to check it when you're not playing your Switch, and put Street Pass in the phone.
Just literally transfer the games from 3DS.
Let you collect
to the phone.
stamps.
And there's
Yeah.
got to be technology there that tells you when you're near somebody.
Of course.
They
That
track
makes
it all
no
over.
sense.
Yeah.
Put it in the phone.
I think everyone would love that.
Yeah, that'd be a
Go
killer
everywhere
announcement.
with your phone anyway. It's not like you'd be forgetting it.
Exactly, and that's why Street Pass, as Garrett said, doesn't make as much sense with the console as your phone, because you have your phone anyway. But could you imagine going to a PAX, Street Pass on your phone?
Oh yeah, no,
Or
that'd be
Even
crazy.
I feel like that's such a good way to find other like-minded players. Like you might find someone at your work who plays the game or
Yep.
something.
100%.
I feel like that's such a good way to connect with people. Because you might never bring that up to a coworker or something, but they might have the app and you would connect and be like, "Oh my god, we should play a Switch game."
Or they're in a different department, a different floor, whatever.
Yeah.
And you find people.
Yeah.
That would be cool. A little
On your
messaging
college
thing.
campus, I'm sure that would be a huge thing on college campuses.
Hmm.
Nintendo, why aren't you doing this?
Right.
This is,
No, we're gonna make Pikmin go. Good job,
Okay,
guys.
sure.
You did it. All right.
This is exactly what Pikmin fans want.
Not Pikmin 4.
I feel so bad for
Well, so
Pikmin.
funny. That was the thing I made fun of Kevin. I was like, finally, Pikmin 4 is here. Now we finally know what it is. It's this
I hear
mobile
Kevin
game.
screaming right now. Man.
That's going to do it for us tonight on the show. The recording might be delayed. Maybe not. I typically stay up late anyway, but it's going to be a long edit, so we'll see. So if it's not out super thing in the morning, if you listen this far, that's why. But that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you so much for hanging through with our technical difficulties as I recorded from a tornado watch, and hopefully it wasn't too bad. But we'll catch you next week. Good night, Kooplings.
Bye-bye.